Hello and welcome to the Southampton season review, I guess. Obviously, it's a little bit late, really, since our last game, but I just honestly didn't want to talk about Southampton. It's quite depressing. But I've got to the point now where, you know, in the next week or two, the season sort of ticks over and we'll start be looking forward to the championship and looking at our new managers and new players, right? So, managers. Hopefully just manager, no more sackings, huh? Well, unless there's a Nathan Jones V2, but in terms of this season, I have to really talk about it before I can talk about the stuff. So we're going to start with managers because we had a few. We'll talk about Ralph first. So obviously, in hindsight, would Ralph have been better than Nathan Jones Sellers? Obviously, but at the time, I was accepting of it. I felt like I did appreciate what he did for us. I felt like he did a good job for the overall shit he's had to deal with, you know, lack of money, lack of any quality players anywhere. So I feel like he did a good job, but then it got to the point where I feel like he was done, he was tired, he didn't have the same passion, which is understandable because this club has drained me as well. So it's understandable. Literally being at the facilities every single day would be quite draining. So I understand he sort of fell off. And he needed to go. Fine. And I do remember saying in the video about Ralph Hasenhuttl that if we were going to sack him, you have to get someone who's better. And they didn't. They got bloody, well, I guess, whatever way you look at it, the greatest manager in Europe, statistically, of course, for last season. Nathan Jones. Now, obviously, Nathan Jones, we all know what happened with that. He was a dumbass, talked shit, and was just a straight up idiot at times, to be honest. Now, obviously, we can blame, I think is it Ankerson? Yeah, I think it's that. I think I asked that, actually. You can kind of blame him and his decision-making when it came to Nathan Jones. Because, I mean, when he first came in, wasn't too confident about it. You know, it's a big step up from the Championship to the Premier League, and obviously the size of the club is quite enormous compared to Luton, even though now they're in the Prem, so fair enough. But yeah, so Nathan Jones was a disaster, and I don't feel like a lot of people will say Nathan Jones was the reason we got relegated. I mean, it wasn't 100% his fault. Obviously, that really did derail any really hope of staying up. But obviously, I think Ralph was failed by the recruitment this window, or the summer window, I should say. We needed a striker. It was evident we needed a striker, and he never got one. We were promised one, we never got one, right? So I feel as if they did fail him in the window, and we'll talk about recruitment soon, but in general, I do think they failed in that department. And with the Romeo situation, obviously at the time, I thought it was just Romeo saying, I want to go back to Spain, and I was fine with it. It's like, okay, you know, he's been a good servant for the club. And obviously you don't want to really force him to stay, do you, when he's done so much for the club. And now in the hindsight, I've seen some stuff that apparently it wasn't that at all. It was Ralph saying stay. I think Simmons was the other one that said stay, and Angerson said fuck off. So if that's the case, I mean, that's your first failure as sort of the guy controlling things, really. You have a manager who plays his style of play. He needs players that fit the style of play. Romeo clearly was a key player in the team. You don't just go, yeah, your opinion doesn't matter, I'll fucking sell him. That sort of disrupts the whole communication line, really. I mean, if you can't even trust the guy above you in the pecking order to even trust your judgment, then I mean, well, and to respect your opinion, then I mean, that's always going to fall apart, isn't it? So, yeah, so with that situation, it's kind of a shit one, and that's why I feel like they did fail Ralph completely. I do hope he continues managing. I'd like to see him give it a go at another place, but yeah, they fucked him over. And then Sellers gets one win against Chelsea, and fuck me, Ankerson's got his cock out, and he's like, fuck me, I found the solution. Why? Why has Sellers been given the job for the rest of the season? I mean, if he had won 3 in a row, understandable. But it was one game against a Chelsea team that is in absolute turmoil and have been shocking. And yes, obviously it was a good win. It was a decent performance. It wasn't, oh my God, we played unreal. It was decent. I think it was more of a manager bounce from Nathan Jones fucking off him. I was like, thank God for that. And I did like Sellers' personality. I did like the way he spoke. At the end of the day, clearly the tactics went there because, I mean, fuck me. We didn't play a striker for about 9 games when we needed goals and we needed to get points. So yeah, Sellers was a joke of an appointment. I don't understand why they did it. They just got caught up in the moment, I guess. And he was arguably statistically worse than Jones, but he did have a harder run of games. But yeah, the fault of Salah's was the lack of experimentation, the lack of adaptability. I mean, when you play against, Arsenal, Tottenham, City or whatnot, and as a team as we are, bottom three, well, dead bottom for a lot of the time, it's easy to play against those sort of teams in an aspect because they're going to have possession. They're going to try to dominate the ball. There's going to be counter-attacking opportunities. And I think that's been the problem with our team for a while, is that when we have the ball for 60% possession or 55% possession of a game, we don't know what the fuck we're doing, but it's easy. It's easy to counter-attack, isn't it? Yeah, you get the ball forward, maybe Suleimana's up there, or when he plays, or Tatum's or whatever, and you just fucking run forward. And it's really just a 3v3, 4v4, and you just try and do it fast, right? So it's easy to do counter-attacking, but when we're in possession, oh my god, it was dire. It was basically, I didn't even know what they were going to do next. Little did they know what they're doing next. Fuck me, they had no idea where to go. And that's why I think it resulted in a lot of, as they say, we don't pass forwards. We'll get to that situation later. But yeah, I do agree that when it comes to position, we do struggle to really try and make plays happen and going forward. And I think that's why the whole passing backwards, passing to the side happened a lot, because we just had no movement in front of us, no idea where to go and what to do. So that's that. I think both managers that we signed this season were fucking awful. And obviously Ralph, I feel like, I respect him. He did what he could, and then it just sort of, he got betrayed, and then it sort of fell apart. But we'll talk now about recruitment. We'll start off in summer. I was pretty positive about the summer recruitment. Obviously, a lot of people were saying we need a striker, which was evident. But I think in overall, right, the summer was good, except we didn't get a striker, right? I think most of the players that came in did decent. I mean, we'll talk about them individually, but as a whole, I was pretty happy with the summer window. That striker was the only thing that was holding it back from being really a perfect window, in my opinion. And then we got to January. We have Nathan Jones manage them for about a game before he fucks off. So big Paul signs, big target man striker, big direct boy. And, well, Nathan Jones is gone after one game or 2 games of him being around. And then Sellers is like, fuck me, you're shit. And now he doesn't play. So we just wasted, 15 mil on a player that just didn't fit Sellers. But you bought him for a manager you were going to sack after the next 2 games. I mean, that was just an absolute mess. January had positives and some high negatives, because we'll talk about Orsic now. Fuck me, what does this guy have to do? Like, he must have walked around the campus, Stockport or whatever the fuck, walked around fucking nude, just fucking shaking his cock around, and people are like, fuck me, that's poor professionality, and then he can't play. Because what else was the reason? Fucking hell. You have Elanusi playing, you have Adam Armstrong playing. I mean, Orsic, I didn't watch the game against Grimsby Town, the FA Cup game. I watched that last 20. So apparently he was shitting that, fine, whatever. But Elanusi's been shit for how many years? Adam Armstrong's been shit for how many years? So it's not as if, he's had 40 games and he's still shit. He never got a chance. And I think it was 10 minutes of Prem. I mean, you bought him for the experience and the quality, and you're not even bothered. You've just not even tried him. I mean, when you get to this point, this is one thing about Sellers that I said about the experimentation. He wasn't willing to experiment. Fuck me, you have new players. Chuck them on. Clearly what you're doing and the players that are on the pitch aren't good enough. Just chuck them on. Orsic deserved to at least have a chance. Big Paul, I mean, you didn't play to his strengths ever. So, I mean, I don't particularly blame him for not playing perfectly. He did add a sort of X factor because he's a big cunt. But you never really used him. So you never really utilised being a big cunt. So, yeah, that's just down to, again, poor management, poor adaptability. He couldn't adapt his style of play or what the tactics were to fit Paul as a striker, and that's why he never played. And then obviously we got Bree as well before we get to the positives. Bree, I mean, I don't dislike him as a player. I don't think he's going to set the world alight, but I think he's a good squad player. He didn't really get a chance under Sellers. He just played the last game because he's like, fuck it. Or was it the second last game? I don't know. Yeah, he got a little look in, but he played under Jones for Jones, basically. And then as soon as Jones goes, he got kicked off the fucking team. But I think in the championship, he'll be good. Obviously, Tino will sort of be our starting right back. He can sort of be the squad player for that. So, yeah, I'm not upset about signing. It was 500k or 800k or something. So I'm not exactly crying over the fee because it was fuck all. But moving on. Suli and Alcaraz. I've gone this the wrong order. I was supposed to talk about summer first, but we'll go summer after this. Suli and Alcaraz. Okay. Why didn't Suleiman play every single minute for the whole time he was here? That's my question. Same with Alcaraz. I mean, you got new players in, as I said before, you got to give them a go. Suleiman, in product, wasn't particularly there majority of the time. You know, some decisions were wrong. But you know what he did do that Alanusi, Adam Armstrong and all them would not do? Is attack players and actually try to attack. This guy would beat players constantly. Yes, he didn't get the assists or the goals, or he did in the final game, and I think that final game really showed what he can do. But he just never got the chance to really show what he wanted to do. I mean, he plays a full game never, basically. And I mean, what is he supposed to do? Come off the bench for 20 minutes play when it's 3-0 and we're fucking shit on, and supposed to what? Completely control the game up front and destroy them? Yeah, okay. Yeah, but I think Suleiman has got bags of potential. I mean, he showed in that Liverpool game he was class. And I mean, he just always beats players. He's similar to a Dozy, but better, right? And I think, we'll talk about Dozies later as well. We'll skip past that. Alcaraz. Again, another raw player, good potential. People seem to be getting, I don't know, a little bit too much hype from him. He's not like a god. Like, everyone keeps acting like, I saw an opinion on Twitter that Alcaraz should be up for Player of the Year. What? His touches have been dodgy at times. His decision-making has been fucking awful at times. His dribbling's been poor. Player of the Year. You're taking the piss, man. He should be nowhere near that. And I mean, I don't dislike Alcaraz. I think he's a great player. I think he will be a great player in the future under a good system and good manager. But holy shit. Let's not excuse the absolute howling errors he's made. I mean, I don't blame him for us getting relegated. I don't blame him for us poor performances. I mean, it's not his fault. I mean, you can only do so much as an attacker when the rest of them suck. But there's been a lot of times where his touch has been very poor, his decision-making has been very poor. I mean, against Nottingham Forest, he literally gave them a goal. No one ever talked about that, though. If that was Ward-Prowse, I'll tell you right now, all the bloody boos would be out from the bloody woodwork and fuck me, sell them for 10 mil, I'd try them there myself. We'll get to Ward-Prowse later, but I don't know. I think people had a soft spot for Alcaraz and they sort of let him get away with criticism a lot. But I mean, he'll be a great player in the future, same with Suleiman. But Alcaraz, I mean, there was a lot of overhyping him. People were really overhyping him. I think, for me personally, he's a good player, raw player, but he makes very basic errors. And hopefully the new manager can come in and sort of fix that. But we'll move to summer transfers now. Bazunu, I think Bazunu wasn't as bad what people think. Like, they think he's like the worst thing ever. He's like McCarthy, but worse. I mean, we saw McCarthy. He's fucking awful. I do understand why we bought him in terms of potential and his ability on the ball, but I wasn't too sure about his first team keeper who's never played in the Prem or the Championship. I mean, that's quite risky to make sort of you're the guy for the season. And I think, you know, he's obviously had good games, he's had bad games, but I mean, he's young. I wouldn't want to sell him. I'd be your first team keeper next year. I don't know why he even dropped for this, like, last 4, 5, 6 games of the season. It was pointless. Because what's McCarthy going to do? Fucking worse, mate. You saw his passing. It was dodgy. You saw his legs fucking gaping, mate. He was like, kick it through me, mate. Kick it at me near post. He was awful, right? He's shocking. So I feel like Bazunu's been given a lot of criticism, which isn't exactly his fault. The defence in front of him is fucking awful. There's only so much a keeper can do, right? And moving on, Bella Kotchap. I think Bella Kotchap and Salazu's partnership in the defence for Ralph in the first 2 months was immense. I think Kotchap was a very aggressive player. He was really up the arse of players and he wanted to nick the ball a lot. And I think that was good. And then after the injury, the World Cup, I felt like he lost that aggressiveness. He didn't want to go to them as much. He didn't want to put pressure on them as much. He didn't want to fucking floor someone as much, you know? And I feel like, I don't know, maybe that's sort of in the back of his mind, he doesn't want the injury or whatever, which is understandable, you know. Injuries really play massively on your mind. It really obviously depends on the, you know, how bad the injury is. I think it was just a shoulder injury. I'm not sure. But yeah, I mean, I think he was brilliant at the start of the season, sort of tailed off. And I think he was a part of the reason that Ralph got sacked and it sort of fell apart was when him and Lavia got injured and it sort of disrupted the whole team. But we'll talk about Lavia now. Obviously, Player of the Year, that was granted. He's been brilliant. His ability to bring the ball out from the back and link the play is excellent. If we just had some half-decent attackers, it may have worked better. But obviously, I would be surprised if he's still here next season. I mean, he's clearly way too good for the championship. And that's evident in his play, really. But yeah, he's been excellent. Can't really fault him. He's tried. He's given a shit. And really, you can only do so much at 18, can't you? He's been brilliant. I mean, I have nothing to say about Lavia. Negative, at least. Adozi now, a very bright light. He's similar, as I said, to Sulemana. He's very direct and can beat players, but was never used. I mean, he was used under Jones, and he was probably our best attacker in that really bad time. But then Sellers took over, and he's just fucking off in the fucking under 20s or whatever. And it's just like, Jesus Christ, man. Again, it's the same thing with Sellers. Experimentation. What happens if we chuck Sulemana and Alcaraz and Adozi? What could happen? I don't know. Maybe, like, they could attack? I don't know. But yeah, just an idea. But yeah, Adozi will be unreal in the championship, I'll tell you right now. We've got some really good players in the championship, I'll tell you right now. We're looking good. Mara, raw player again. I think in a good system he could be good. He's not sort of a goal scorer. He's more of a, I'd see him as more of a false nine. He just never got used, did he? I mean, and when he did play, he didn't exactly set the world alight. I just don't think our style of play suited him. I think we were very direct at times, and obviously Mara's not a target man. But apparently, what did Sellers say? Mara and Adams are just as good as Paul in the air. Yeah, that's about all we need to know about that. Aribo, I don't know. I think, again, he's a good technical player, but again, it's just not utilised right. I think a lot of these players have the ability, just weren't utilised properly. I don't know where I'd fit Aribo in, to be honest. But yeah, I don't think he'll stay. I think if he does stay, I think he could be brilliant, especially in if Russell Martin is going to be our manager. I'll talk about that when he's actually signed, because I'm not fucking getting baited into making a video and then he fucks off. But yeah, that's about Aribo. I don't really know. Kaltakar, he was pretty dodgy, wasn't he? He punched someone in the back against Grimsby. I don't know what the fuck he was doing there, but yeah, I wouldn't really rate him that highly, to be honest. I preferred the Balakot-Chap-Salazu partnership. Maitland-Niles, lazy shit. I mean, he was played right back for some reason. Played centre back as well for no reason. I think the only game he played well from memory is DM against Crystal Palace when he came off the bench. That was the only time. Absolutely only time. Now let's talk about the captain, James Ward-Prowse. I've seen a lot of criticism, and a lot of criticism is fucking stupid. Apparently he can't play forwards. Oh, I mean, that's crazy. That's wild stuff. Because he created the most chances in the team. But let's not talk about that. Yes. Well, I mean, that's not hard, is it? We have our Lucy playing. Yeah, so Ward-Prowse, obviously a brilliant servant. Mr. Southampton, as they say. Obviously, it's going to be sad when he leaves. He's 100% going, by the way. There's no hope in fucking hell that he will stay in the championship. I could see him move to like a Newcastle. I wouldn't say he'd move to a City or something like that. Maybe like a Tottenham Newcastle would sort of be the teams that want him. I think he'd work brilliant in the Newcastle system because he's a fucking engine. And I think Eddie Howe would really need that, especially with the Champions League campaigns as well coming up. But yeah, a lot of criticism for Ward-Prowse. He sucks as captain. He's shit at captain. How would you know, mate? Are you in the change room? Are you on the training ground? Are you anywhere near the team? Do you even hear Ward-Prowse's voice ever in your life, mate? No, because you're not fucking around him, mate. And that's another stupid thing. People saying, oh, yep, he's a bad leader, he's a bad captain. Who are you going to have captain, exactly? Who would you want? Alex McCarthy? He's experienced. Theo Walcott? What's Theo Walcott got that Ward-Prowse doesn't? I mean, Walcott barely played for the whole season, so you can't really have a captain for someone who doesn't play. Obviously, Romeo would have been the closest. I mean, Walker-Peters, in my opinion, is not a captain, but that's just personal preference, I guess. And he sort of tailed off as well, but Ward-Prowse got unbelievable criticism. It's as if they expect him to play like Messi and sort of completely carry the team. As a midfielder, right? Envision this. You're playing in this world-class Southampton team. You're Ward-Prowse, you turn. You receive the ball from the bench, you turn and you go, where are my options? Alanusi. Okay, that's not the greatest. Adam Armstrong. That's dodgy as well. Oh, can I play it direct? No, because I'm not playing a fucking striker. We're playing Alcaraz up front. Shit. How am I going to get the ball to Alcaraz? Shit. Oh, fuck. Where's Walcott? Oh, fuck, he's short as well. I can't really ping it to him, can I? Shit. Where do I go? Fullbacks are open. I'll play it to the fullbacks. So apparently he gets criticised for playing it backwards and sideways. Who do you want him to pass to? Who is there to pass to? We have no style of play. There is no build-up from the back, brother. There's no Ward-Prowse fucking pinging it around because people are making runs. There's no one moving. No one moves. There's a reason why we have 25 points. Because we have no attacking threat in the slightest. In the slightest. We have Elanusi with 99 pace who just boots players constantly, don't we? And Adam Armstrong who's full of confidence, who megs everyone. Or just runs it straight, really, and just gets tackled. We don't have any attack. And you can't fucking do anything if your attackers suck. And I mean, he's carried us. He's carried us for years. We would have been relegated without him. Let's be completely honest. And he's a free kick merchant. Is he? Is he? Considering he's been our best player in basically every statistic. Fucking hell. It's just, I feel like this, I'm about to fucking psychologically analyse this. Okay? I'm a professional. What I believe is the core reason, right? Obviously, one, people are real butthurt that we got relegated and like, oh, it's Ward-Prowse's fault because he's supposed to be like a top 6 player and he should be able to carry us. Stupid opinion, it's an 11-side game. Believe it or not, it's not a 1v1, okay? So, you know, him and the team, you know, he can't do everything, right? It's not his fault McCarthy's legs are fucking gaping, is it? It's not his fault Elanusi just runs it straight and gets tackled, same with Adam Armstrong. It's not his fault Adams fucking misses everything. It's not his fault, is it? No. No, it isn't, because it's a team game. You fucking donkeys, mate. And the second one, now this one's key. This one's key. I reckon they're talking shit about Ward-Prowse, saying he's shit this, he's shit that. I'll drive him to fucking there for fucking, they can have him for free. I'll drive him there myself. Meh. It's all because it'll be easier to let him go. It's as simple as that. That's honestly my opinion. I think the reason everyone is so up his fucking ass, well, not everyone, obviously, there's plenty of people that are just like, what the fuck is this? But a lot of people are criticising him and over-criticising him and blaming him for a lot of things. It's simple. You're scared to let him go. How is it easy to let someone go? You talk shit. You start saying, actually, you're a fucking cunt. I hate you. And it's easier for them to fuck off. Have you ever been in a relationship, mate? It's so easy to do this. You break up. The girl's like, fucked off or whatever. You were in love. What's easy to do, definitely talking from experience here, what's easy to do is go, I hated this. I hated that, what you did there. I remember this time that I hated that as well. That was fucking annoying. You treated them like shit in that time. It's easy. It's easy to move past something when you talk shit about it. And that's exactly what you're doing. And I'm talking, maybe not to you, but someone, maybe you over there. It's unreal. It's actually unbelievable. Fuck me. Just appreciate he's been here. Respect him. I mean, people talking about if he was loyal, he'd come down. Motherfucker's 28. He could have moved fucking 3 years ago. Like, come on. Jesus Christ. People are just fucking shit. He's on a 6-year deal, bruv. Fuck me, if that's not loyalty, I don't know what is. But yeah, that's my fucking psychological analysis of the borderline below 100 IQ, maybe 80 IQ people, Southampton fans. But yeah, so that's Ward-Prowse. Dunzo. He obviously hasn't had his best season, but who has? You know, when a team gets 25 points, you're bound to not have your best season. Yeah, so that's basically the review. I mean, there's not... I did ramble a bit, but at the end of the day, we got 25 points. It's not as if there was a lot of chance of us staying up. You know, we were relegated 2 months ago. We really were. So it's not as if we came to the final day and we're like, fuck, we got relegated. Fuck. Like, we were new for ages, right? Yeah, so I'll talk about, because I think I saw on Twitter that that ticks over to championship now, or a championship team officially, and that's when we're going to sign Russell Martin. So I'll do a video about Russell Martin if he signs, and obviously probably who I think will leave, you know, who will I won't do who we signed because I don't fucking know any of the players we ever linked to, honestly. Some of them are just fucking random cunts. I mean, to be honest, out of all the players that we signed, I didn't know one of them. I didn't know any of them at all. I knew Maitland-Niles. That was it. Because we were linked with him about 2 years ago. But yeah, so I'll do a video on those when it happens, and I'll do a video about transfers and who I think will leave, how much they'll leave for, who we should really try and keep, stuff like that, you know, simple stuff like that. But yeah, so this is the review donezo. Yeah, I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you guys for the championship season. Obviously, I'll be doing watch-alongs and all that. Hopefully, I can find the place. I got told a few places that do championship football, so hopefully be able to find some and watch them at 3 AM. Woo, exciting. But yeah, like, subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys, I guess, for the next video when Russell Martin signs. And yeah, hope you have a good day, and hope you had a good next season, because this season was fucking awful. But anyway, I appreciate hanging out. Well, not hanging out, but you know what I mean. I'll see you bloody next time, mate.